Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You could follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.42 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's off 1.3. Bitcoin 107,000 plus, Ethereum 2,400 plus, XRP number 4 spot $2.18. We're off 0.5% on the 24 and 0.5% on the 7-day. Range of price right now between 216 and 221. We'll keep an eye on it. Ladies and gentlemen, iTrustCapital, whether it's an IRA, if you're interested in that, and let me tell you, you won't believe the empowerment you get with your own back office. You don't get this anywhere else. I'm telling you right now, this is really remarkable. Listen, you get the tax advantages, whether you want to roll over your 401k, 403b, 457 and more. They got it. You can buy and sell your crypto 24/7 in the back office. Put whatever weight you want on whatever asset you prefer. This is something you can control 24/7. You don't get this kind of control and empowerment anywhere else, to be honest with you. And then they have now the PCA account, which is a closed loop system for anyone who is worried about keeping their assets safe. Listen, if you're a long-term holder and you're not really a trader, this account is directly created for you. It was absolutely created for people like yourself and me. And institutional custody, free. Award-winning US-based support, 100%. They got great customer service. Low cost, no monthly fee. 1% trading fee, ladies and gentlemen. 1% trading fee. Now, why is it a closed loop system? Because you got to sell your crypto to come out of the account, and it only can go, once you sell the crypto, it can only go to your checking account. This is the kind of security closed loop system that I know a lot of people like myself are looking for. And I am about to take advantage of this thing in a way that you can't even imagine. Not to mention the fact that Kevin Maloney, the CEO, was just on Paul Barron and talking about hinting, I should say, hinting that there's something else coming for XRP holders. Calls us fanatics, by the way, which I wear like a badge of honor, Kevin. And I'll say this, if he's leaning in and we're reading the tea leaves right, DeFi's coming. Some kind of yield reward earning product in these accounts or one of these accounts. I don't know, but I tell you what, I couldn't be more excited to have my assets in a closed loop system that could eventually have access to some kind of DeFi or yield. Are you kidding me? Yeah, you're going to want to check that out. Click the link below the video and get started. You won't believe it. And here is iTrustCapital right here. We're going to hear from Jared. Oh, yeah. And wait till you hear what Jared's talking about. It's more conversations on how to earn yield. Take a listen. And by the way, Jared's super smart.
We see a huge shift in this real world asset narrative. The example in this case is Ondo Finance, which is a protocol. They have an ERC20 token, but they are a real world asset driven protocol that emphasizes the generation, storage, buying and selling, transferring of real world assets on chain. And one of their products is called OUSG, which is a treasury real world asset, which I think BlackRock is also affiliated with the product on the back end. And they had a strategic relationship that was announced with Ripple, in which RLUSD, which is Ripple's stablecoin, is going to be used to mint and or redeem OUSG, which gives an amazing opportunity for folks using the XRP ledger to be able to get exposure and to be able to keep building on this real world asset narrative. Will there be smart contract opportunities, yield opportunities for XRP that sprout as a result of this sort of relationship? I would say quite possibly. That could be a conversation for another time, but it is a really good example of how this real world asset narrative continues to be pushed forward.
Yeah, and you got
It really is. And shout out to Darren Moore for sitting down and getting that conversation going with Jared, Senior VP of Operations over at iTrust. Listen, something's coming. You got Kevin Maloney hinting around it. You got Jared from the Senior VP of Operations talking about all kinds of different lending potential, possibility, earning, all of this stuff. Look, that conversation's getting real, ladies and gentlemen. I like where it's going. And here's Vivo Power advisor Adam Trademan, ex Coinbase, and more importantly, ex SBI CEO. Listen to what he says here about Flare. Comes highly recommended by Ripple.
When it comes to Flare, Flare is our first partner on the DeFi yield generation piece. Ripple's an investor in Flare. We've known the Flare team for a very long time. I have through my prior work in crypto. There's a lot of trust there. Ripple really highly recommends them as well. So they're going to be our first partner where we're entrusting XRP onto their network in order to generate yield.
And you know what? When you think of it, whether it's Flare and the relationship that Vivo Power is talking about, or whether it's Flare getting ready to do a relationship with Uphold, or whether you're talking about DeFi yield returning reward options, possibly coming in the future with iTrust, it seems, this is the new world that's coming. And you listen, if you think people haven't sat back and realized that there is enormous level of idle liquidity sitting in XRP's camp, listen, you better think again, right? Because they're about to unleash the beast. And believe me, when this really takes off in mass, this is going to be something that's going to speak every day to everybody out here, especially the tribalists, the maximalists from other camps. All of that stuff is about to be shattered like a glass house. And I tell you, some of what's going to do that is going to be DeFi and earning rewards and yield. Meanwhile, we got trouble a little bit with this big, beautiful bill, ladies and gentlemen. Why do I say this? Because it doesn't address cryptocurrency taxation, and it was supposed to. That's a problem. The exclusion of crypto tax provisions from the big, beautiful bill points to a preference for overall fiscal policies over targeted crypto reforms. Under the current IRS rules, all crypto transactions are treated as taxable events, requiring capital gains reporting even for small transactions under a few $100s, a process the industry hoped to simplify. As the budget bill moves to the House for further review, the crypto sector is focusing on the Genius Act, Bitcoin Act, and Clarity Act for potential regulatory and tax clarity. So it looks like we're going to have to lean back into these other bills or one of these other bills to get the kind of clarity for taxes on crypto that we need. And I still wouldn't take off the table some kind of advantage for using U.S. domicile protocols and they being highly tax advantaged, if not free. The SEC is reportedly considering a simplified listing process for crypto ETFs that would automate much of the approval process. Under the proposed structure, issuers could potentially skip lengthy 19B-4 application process and list within 75 days. This could be massive, massive news, ladies and gentlemen. You're talking about expediting this process for spot ETF approval? Oh my gracious sakes alive. Yes, it is a very real conversation, ladies and gentlemen. And breaking, the SEC has just approved the conversion of Grayscale's digital large cap trust into a spot ETF, which, by the way, does include Cardano, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and Bitcoin. Yeah, we're locking in, ladies and gentlemen. And here is Ripple Van Winkle right here breaking it right down. And I think he says it great right here. So there's no need for me to say it. I'm going to let him say it. Give him a follow on X and his new YouTube channel, by the way, which you can see the link right here. Don't mess around.
The United States Securities and Exchange Commission just greenlit the Grayscale Digital Large Cap Public Fund for trading on the New York Stock Exchange. This is the moment, folks. Anyone with a basic brokerage account, no fancy crypto wallets, no private keys, no worrying about hacks or losing your password, can buy a piece of a fund that's loaded up with the biggest names in crypto. And yes, XRP is included in this fund, almost 5% allocated. It is a spot ETF. They must hold the actual XRP, but this opens up the path for 18 additional ETFs to be approved in the near term.
There you have it right there. By the way, let's go to his new channel here just so you can see it. It is the Bullwinkle Blueprint. And he just suffered a massive attack on his channel and lost his channel, which was doing really great. But let's help him get his subs back. I've subbed. I'm asking you to sub. Let's help get this guy's sub count up, man. There's enough room out here for all of us. And I think he does a great job anyway with his channel. Shout out to him. Grayscale, an introduction to XRP. Yes, that is exactly what's happening here. And just like it was said by Ripple Van Winkle here, we're getting ready to see a lot of regular investor folk get access to this asset that they never had before because they wouldn't open an account in this space. Nate Garassi here, who is the president of Nova Dias Wealth, comes in, ETF Prime co-founder, comes in and says biggest news from today in his opinion for yesterday was XRP will now be accessible to the everyday investor through that Grayscale large cap ETF. And after nearly 5 years of the SEC versus Ripple litigation, and now anyone will be able to easily access XRP in a SEC regulated investment vehicle. That's where we're going now. Then add this piece of news in, Ripple to serve enterprise grade stable coins. I'm going to say that one again. Ripple to serve enterprise grade stable coins. Ripple accelerates real USD adoption with OpenPaid partnership for enterprise grade stablecoin payments infrastructure. Yeah, this is not for you, right? This is for the big boys and girls, right? I get it. It's not for us. I understand. Bring it on. I want to see all the big boys and girls in this space using real USD. Just like right here, breaking from Paul Barron's system upgrade or a strategic pivot. American Express sparks Ripple integration buzz. The timing of this upgrade, alongside Amex's expanding crypto partnerships, such as with Coinbase, suggests a strategic shift towards blockchain-powered solutions for global payments. Hello, XRP. And here's what we know. American Express has been a long-time Ripple partner. They were running all domestic transactions through Ripple's RippleNet fiat messaging. We're taking a huge step forward, American Express, Santander, in solving problems corporate customers experience with global payments. Transfers that used to take days will be completed in real time, allowing money to move fast as business today. Garlinghouse said in a statement Thursday, both American Express and Santander suggested the blockchain project could eventually be extended worldwide. That's what's going on, but I'm not done with you just yet. Oh, no. Then hear from Matthew Lineye right here. AWS's global infrastructure will support the XRP ledger. This session will provide an overview on the benefits of Amazon Web Services' global infrastructure and recently open source project aimed at simplifying the deployment of self-managed XRP ledger nodes on AWS. Yeah, loving that for all of us. And here is a look at the snapshot right here. Intro, why AWS? AWS blockchain node runners project. Allow you to run, deploy, self-manage XRP ledger nodes on Amazon Web Services. Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a lot of builders using AWS, right? It is a massive platform for builders. Nonetheless, I like this W pattern here. Eggrag Cryptos insist to start taking profits at $6 to $7, he says. We'll see. What I want to see is how fast we get to $6 or $7. And then from there, how long does it take us to get even higher? The potential of $13, $20, $27, or $40 plus. Look, ultimately, I do believe we're going to 4 and 5 digits a token here. I believe it because I understand where the ultimate goal is, and I believe we'll be greatly successful. When? I don't know. And I've never known. And I've never pretended to know. But what I do know for a fact is that this legislation in the United States, all of it, not some of it, when all of it is passed and there's no more conversations to have, we will be entering into the .com era for the crypto space. That is just a next natural organic evolution of where we're at today. And I couldn't be more excited. And could any of these price points be possible? In my mind, absolutely. But it is just small steps in a massive journey towards the 4 and 5 digits that I believe XRP is destined for. And if they accomplish doing the things that they're doing, it'll be no time before they get there. But until then, we're hanging on to what we got right here. Shout out to Eggrag Crypto for all his information, and shout out to each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you greatly. And just a final word I want to say to people. Yesterday, there was a Twitter space held by John Deaton, and shout out to John Deaton. He's amazing. On link to and the latest status and update. And as it is, he suggests that a bankruptcy filing is imminent for a restructuring potentially. And what that restructuring could look like poses many different options and scenarios. So with that being said, I think the thing to do is to wait for the actual bankruptcy to file. And then when it does, let's all look at all of that information and understand exactly the things that happened that none of us could have known anything about. Understand where we can learn on that information, and then figure out where this new leadership is going next to resolve these issues and how it may or may not affect us and our holdings. Until then, not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.